Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Weekly Brief. I am Robbie Feinberg. I am the Director of Communications and Government Relations for the Maine School Management Association, your representative in the Maine State House. And I'm here to share with you the latest from the legislature. The legislature ultimately wrapped up virtually all of their work for this current legislative session this week. Just Tuesday night, they wrapped that up. So I'm here to share with you quite a bit about what's happened over the past week and then give you a little bit of a preview of what we want to get to you all in the next few weeks. So let's get started. So I want to start with the biggest news of the week, and this was the fact that the legislature did pass LD 2226. This was the bill amending the Essential Programs and Services EPS funding formula. This all happened very quickly. It was just a week ago that the Education Committee actually had to make some amendments to this bill because of its cost, and we talked about this. However, this bill did continue to proceed. It makes some major changes, and ultimately the House and Senate did vote to approve LD 2226 on Tuesday night. These are going to be the first changes to the EPS formula in more than 2 decades. And Governor Mills, she has indicated that she will sign that bill. She's already told media that she will sign this bill. So we are expecting this law to go into effect. Important to note, these changes, we'll take you through exactly what will be in these changes, but they will go into effect beginning in the 27-28 school year. So that will be in the next school year. It won't take place this fall, but the changes will start up really next fall. So that's when you'll really see the changes in your school budgets and your ED 279s, the result of these changes here. Before going into these changes, we did want to say this was a very well-considered bill. This was the result of years of study from MEPRI, from researchers as well, and real work between them, between the legislature, and between school leaders. They met with really hundreds of folks all across the state in terms of, determining what to look at in the EPS formula and how to change it. There have also been school leaders who have really been advocating for changes for many, many years as well. What was really encouraging, no matter what the outcome of this bill was, what was really encouraging was hearing from legislators that when they were considering whether or not they wanted to support this bill, their first call was to the local school. It was to their superintendent. It was to their school board. And that's who they went to. And that local advocacy really made a difference. And that really did make this happen. MEPRI has also been further tasked to keep studying EPS and look at additional formula changes. So we don't expect this to be the very end of those discussions right here. We don't expect that this will be the last step. However, this bill is a major step, as we mentioned, the first real changes in more than 2 decades. So in terms of what is actually in this bill, I will take you through. We've talked about this a little bit, but I will take you through it once again because it is important to be aware of this because this really will affect, many, many schools across the state. So number one, arguably the biggest change in this and the most expensive is updating the regional adjustment. So what this is going to do, this was proposed by MEPRI when they came to the legislature this year. And this was the biggest change that they discussed. So what they are talking about is moving to a cost of living index with this. And so we currently have a regional adjustment index that really adjusts how much schools receive for salaries and from district to district, from region to region. This changes that. So what this does is it moves to a cost of living index. It also helps to align that index with the state's minimum teacher salary and kind of that formula we have. When the EPS funding formula started, there was no minimum teacher salary. So that wasn't even considered, but this really works to align it with that system that we currently have as a state and move to this new cost of living index. And what this effectively does is it's going to add nearly $40 million in new state subsidy into the formula, which will direct more funding to schools that really need it. One of the real findings from MEPRI was that The old regional adjustment was not getting the appropriate amount of funding to certain schools. It was actually underfunding them for their salaries just because of the way in which things were so outdated at that point. So this is really going to help to fix that. This is going to help schools across the state really correct those issues with this formula and get that funding to schools that really need it. We think this is a huge step. This has been something that the Department of Education has been advocating for, that MEPRI's been advocating for, and we're really pleased that this was included. The other big change, and this has been talked about quite a bit, is moving to the new 90-10 model for ability to pay. And I know a lot of you probably know how this works, but I'll still explain. So currently the formula works where each community subsidy, what they receive from the state, that's based pretty much completely on the value of properties in that community. And what we have heard from school leaders, many school leaders in recent years, is that those property values in some communities, they really don't reflect the full picture of what a community can actually pay. And we've certainly seen this with certain communities, the ways in which, property values have really skyrocketed across the state. And you have some places that may appear to be more wealthy than they are, but they have a lot of people really in poverty. They really can't make those sorts of payments. So this has been talked about quite a bit. And so what this model will do is that 90% of a community's ability to pay will still be about those property values. However, moving forward in that 27-28 school year, 10% will look at relative incomes. And the way that they're measuring this is by economically disadvantaged students. There have been some questions about how that measure was determined. This was really selected by MEPRI. They looked at a whole bunch of different measures, but really the goal of it is to be able to really look at community income in a different kind of way and really try to assess that, incorporate that into that subsidy as well. And importantly and critically, 2226, the amended bill that passed through the legislature, what is also included is a hold harmless provision. So while most districts, the vast majority of districts are going to see more funding because of the changes in this bill, a few dozen would see reductions. This is something that we were very concerned about because we know how big of a deal that can be for communities, obviously, who are already struggling with school budgets and going, this is going to be concerning that we may see less money. So what they put into this bill is that no districts will lose funding because of these changes for at least 3 years. So 27-28, 28-29, and 29-30, those 3 fiscal years, no districts across the state will lose any funding because of the potential changes in this bill. And then any negative impacts would then be phased in gradually. So in the 4th year of this, after this goes into place, you would only lose about 25% of what you could expect to lose. And then it goes forward to 50% the next year. And then it wouldn't be until 6 years out would be when kind of the full effects of this bill would really be felt across the state. So the hope is that that gives future legislators more time to study this, to really see how this is going and adjust things if they need to, but also to give districts real time to plan for this as well. So these are what is included in this bill. And we do believe that a lot of what's included here, it does make major updates and changes. And we think that this is going to be really positive for a lot of districts, particularly next year, and getting more funding to the districts and to the students who really need it. Then we just wanted to talk about a few other bills that we wanted to flag for you as well. So LD 2175, this bill was signed into law this week. This is a bill around teacher certification, and we are very pleased that this was able to make it through. This is approving new certification rules that were drafted and written by the Maine State Board of Education. These were passed by the legislature and signed by the governor this week. We really feel like these new rules are a significant step forward for strengthening Maine's educator workforce. Most prominently, they include a new portfolio pathway. This was really helped to be developed by superintendents. There were really superintendents who took this on and saying, hey, we have ideas for how we think we can improve teacher certification. They got support from really almost every educator association across the state, the Teachers Union, Maine Education Association, Maine Principals Association, special education administrators, really groups from all across the state support this new pathway. And I think that it's really going to help to remove administrative barriers for certain teaching candidates. So specifically, we think that this is going to help a few kinds of candidates. So one, teachers looking to change endorsement areas. It will hopefully help to reduce administrative barriers around that. It can help educators coming to Maine from other states. And then also it will help for applicants who may be entering the teaching field from a different level. These are folks, specifically, we're thinking about folks like CTE instructors, but there are also other folks who just face these pretty immense barriers to getting into the field right now because of the administrative barriers that exist. And so this will create a new pathway for them that will kind of recognize their prior knowledge and also really allow for more local professional development, which we think is going to be crucial. So this was another bill that it was really educators who took the lead and instrumental in getting these new rules approved. And we are very thankful for your support. We really do believe this will make a difference for the education workforce. And then we also wanted to bring to your attention LD 2192 as well. This has been talked about quite a bit. This is a bill around school employee investigations. I just want to flag some changes that we will be seeing for schools going forward. This was specifically addressing investigations of employee misconduct and new responsibilities. So what this bill will add in and will make changes to the process for investigating this employee misconduct. So one is that it's going to expand the definition of a covered investigation. So expand exactly what is considered an investigation that does need to be reported to the Department of Education and kind of what is deemed misconduct for those reasons. It will require reporting to the DOE immediately when those investigations begin. It will require schools to complete those investigations, even if a staff member has left. It will also create a new process for administrators to check if an applicant has been found to have committed misconduct so that they can check with the state to see those sorts of records as well. And it will also allow for more expanded information sharing related to investigations. We wanted to flag this for you. Please know that we are working internally to develop more resources and training to help school leaders to implement this law. We're also going to be a part of a working group that's going to work to continue to improve the system. So we were going to have quite a bit more in the weeks ahead, but know that we are watching this very closely, are trying to be proactive on this, and will work to provide you with resources that you will need in the weeks and the months ahead. So now I just want to give a quick update, just let you know kind of where we are at and what we are watching for. So what we are working to do internally is there was a whole lot that happened this session. So we're going to work to get you all kind of a complete list of the bills concerning public education, what passed, what didn't, what are the things that you need to watch out for as public education leaders. We'll work to get that information for you over the next few weeks. We hope that that could be really helpful for you, probably after April vacation, I would guess. But we hope that that will be very helpful for you. In the meantime, just want to say thank you for all of your advocacy and your work over the past few weeks and months in the legislative session. As you can see, it really did make a difference. And we look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you.